welcome to Gen Z on Leadership. I'm Gabriel Gary, the host. It's been a little bit since I put out an episode, but today I have a special big guest on the podcast. It is Indiana State Representative and Speaker of the House, Todd Huston. Huston has his bachelor's degree in political science from Indiana University Bloomington. He has been a state rep since 2012. He has been the Speaker of the House since 2020. He's also been on the Indiana State Board of Education and the Indiana Education Roundtable, and he currently has been representing District 37 in the Indiana General Assembly. Enjoy the interview. It was a very, very fun, interesting conversation with Speaker Huston. A lot of great advice. Enjoy the episode. Alrighty, Speaker of the House, Todd Huston, thank you for being here.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask to begin with, what really inspired you to run for Indiana State House in the beginning?
Well, I think it was, for me, a lot of it was just I enjoyed, I've been around public policy a lot of my life. I enjoy people, and I enjoy serving our community. I had the opportunity to serve my community as a school board member at Hill Southeastern Schools, on the planning commission and Fishers, and just, I always enjoyed public service. And when the opportunity came, it was, I talked to my wife. My kids at the time were 12 and 10, and we all kind of thought, this is a great opportunity, and put my name in the hopper, and was fortunate enough to win, and it's kind of met all my expectations. I love the opportunity to serve, and it's been fun to be part of a lot of great things coming and taking place in Indiana.
Absolutely. And I kind of just want to ask, sorry, this is a little bit of a spontaneous question, but
Yeah.
What is, different from being, and you've been the speaker since 2022?
2020, yeah.
2020, okay. So 4 years now. So what's been the biggest change? What's the difference between being just a state rep and then also being the speaker?
You have a lot of administrative duties. You run the chamber. You have the opportunity to appoint chairs of the committee and assign legislation to different committees, those types of things. For me, it's like we're a team, and I'm blessed to have the opportunity to lead the team, but it's a collaborative team effort. And so we work as a caucus. We have 70 members of our caucus, and we work together to create an agenda, and we have a vision for what we think the right direction for Indiana. We work across the aisle as much as we can to get bipartisan support. But so there's a lot of you don't carry in this role. You don't carry a lot of legislation, but you certainly work on lots, and you work across the hall with the Senate on their issues and their priorities, and obviously with the administration, the governor and his team on making sure we're all in sync. So it's a kind of unique role because you feel like you have to collaborate with a lot of people. I enjoy that. I think it's kind of fun. It's a challenge, but it also creates its own set of opportunities. Let's use that term.
For sure. And I want to ask, what's the most rewarding part? The funnest part of your job as speaker?
I think it's when you see things come to fruition that you've worked on for a number of years. I mean, we've always talked about how there's so many great things taking place in Indiana, and we're now watching just the explosion of that. All across our state, you're seeing people moving in, companies expanding, quality of place initiatives, taking place throughout our state. There's just so many exciting things taking place, and you work on these things, and you try and create an environment in which we can make Indiana better for not just this generation, all of us today, but for future generations. And it's so fun to be a part of it. I love traveling across the state and seeing it, talking to people and sensing their energy about it. That to me is the most enjoyable aspect. When you have people who are seeing the benefits of, I think the work that's been done in our state, and are excited about what's taking place.
Sure. My next question is, being the speaker, you're kind of, the leader of your caucus and the House. So how do you handle criticism from your constituents and your colleagues in the House?
Sure. Well, look, anytime, you lead or anytime you're doing something, there's going to be criticism. And I think anybody that says they like it is probably not telling the truth. So I'm going to say I don't love it, but I understand it's necessary. And I try not to take it personally. Um, and not try to question the motivations why somebody's saying it. Look, there are people just differently held beliefs, and that's okay. I mean, that's what makes this country great and democracy an awesome thing. And so you're going to face criticism. You're going to face people that and sometimes rightfully so. I mean, I certainly am an imperfect person, and so you take the criticism. You try and discern what's constructive feedback and apply it. And then but you have to move forward, and you have to move forward, and hopefully at the end of the day you make more good decisions than bad ones. Hopefully the state, you see the type of things taking place across our state, and you feel good about that we're doing more positive things than making mistakes. But I tell anybody, like, if you're going to do something in life, you're going to face criticism, and you got to figure out how to handle it. Yeah, but I'd also say you should hear it, because at the end of the day, I mean, there's probably some level of accuracy to it, and you need to make sure that you take it, and if it's being offered constructively, you take it and make sure that you're adjusting to it.
Definitely. Kind of tying into this, how do you keep an optimistic mindset when a piece of legislation or a resolution that you wanted to be passed, inevitably doesn't get passed to the House or anything like that?
Well, I think it's interesting because people think, oh, Speaker of the House, you must get everything you want, and I always have
Mhm.
viewed my role, my first responsibility is to my constituents, my second responsibility is my
Yeah.
caucus, to our caucus, and the third is to what I would like to see done. Right? So there are oftentimes things I'm disappointed on. Like, you don't get everything you want, just like in life. And I tell people, like, name another place in life where you get 100% of what you want. I'm blessed to be in, my wife and I'll be married 30 years in August, and I haven't gotten everything I wanted across those years, and nor is she. And so you're going to have those things that don't happen, and you have to understand why they did, and you have to understand why there was opposition. You have to know, maybe it was things and mistakes I made that didn't get it across the finish line. But that's what happens. And I love one of the things I love about our process, and is that hey, you got to find 51 other people in the House that agree with you. Then you got to go find 26 other people in the Senate that agree with you, and then hopefully you've got alignment with the administration. So, like, it's not easy. It's a lot easier for things to fail than succeed, particularly big, tough, uh, complicated things. So look, it oftentimes doesn't happen as fast as you like, or maybe as in a way that is as comprehensive as you like, and you take kind of smaller bites at the apple. But it's really, like, I think it's so important it's that way, because there's an aspect of this that it should be hard. It should be hard. You should have to build consensus. You should have to really work at getting people to come along. And again, most of the time, not everybody's getting 100% of what they want, but hopefully you're doing the right thing and with the best outcomes.
hmm my next question, kind of does tie into this. What gives you the drive to continue working, with all these setbacks when it comes to legislation and, just working with your colleagues? What gives you the drive to continue working to represent Hoosiers in the General Assembly?
Well, I think it's, I just love to see the outcomes that we're seeing. Love working with people. The best part of, this process, right, is you have 100 different in our house, in the House of Representatives, you have 100 members, all from different backgrounds, all from different places in the state. It truly is a melting pot.
hmm
And, I love that aspect. It creates, um, we'll just use the term attention, right? Because what a need of one community is may not be a need of another, or there's certainly different priorities where you sit across the state, and so I love that aspect of it. There are setbacks. I mean, there's every session there are things I get done. I go, man, I wish we could have done this, or we wish we could have done that. You can't do it all, and like I said, you're not going to do it all 100% of the time. So I love the process. I respect the process. I respect the institution. I love the people in it, across both parties, tremendous people. Love working together. And like anything in life, there are going to be disappointments, there are going to be frustrations, there are going to be moments that you're a little upset. But in the end, on the whole, it's an awesome thing to get to participate in. It's an awesome thing to have an opportunity to do things. I hope that long term have a great impact on my community and our state.
Sure. My next question is, do you have any ambitions or aspirations to serve a higher, office in Indiana or at the federal level, or are you content with, working in the General Assembly as a, speaker and representative?
Totally content. I love this role. I love our team. I've had the opportunity to work with amazing people. So appreciate anybody that serves, whether you're a United States Senator or President of the United States, or you're a township trustee, or on a town council or city council. So grateful and appreciative of people that are willing to serve. We have a little expression in our office, never say never, never say always. I've always just felt like, this is, I think, the last political job I'll ever have. I treat it that way. I just believe in being good where your feet are, and not trying to plan. God opens up doors for me. Things I've been disappointed in, I now look back on and go, boy, that turned out for the better. But at the time, I couldn't see it. For me, I tell young people in my life that ask for guidance and wisdom: be great where your feet are. You work your tail off. Work harder than anybody else. Be a person that people can trust. And I think be a person that they believe you're committed to them. And if something else, if a door ever opens, I'll look at that door, but I don't walk in that. Every day I believe, I truly believe when I say this will be my last political job. And well, I take that back. I would like to go back and run for school board probably when I'm done. I love education. I believe in the power of change, the power it is to change people's lives through education. So maybe I'll keep that door open.
Yeah, and school board isn't too political or ideological, which is, for the best
Oh,
in a lot of.
yeah, you would think so. Occasionally, it certainly can get that way, but incredibly important job. Frankly, a hard job to get people to do. But extraordinarily important, and so grateful and thankful. Like I said, public service. There are a lot of people in this world who can identify problems, but there aren't as many people that want to go solve them. And I think in public service, the oftentimes you have to find the internal satisfaction because you're not going to get a lot of outside validation. And so you kind of walk through life and you say, hey, I'm going to do what I think's the right thing to do, and serve people, and God love people who serve on school boards because they're doing such important work.
Mhm. This kind of ties back to how, you've been the speaker for 4 years now, you've been the state rep for, a while. How has your leadership style evolved since you first held public office in all your positions? In retrospect, looking back, how has it developed?
Yeah, I think I would say I've become a better collaborator. I think you walk into these types of things and you think you got all the answers, and you realize that a lot of people have a different answer to the same question. So you better figure out how you listen and learn and pull people together. I've probably become over the time of being speaker more patient. Um, I when you get into these types of roles and whether it's controversy or things that brush fires are hot on your feet, you oftentimes want to overreact, and I would tell you I've done this, where you kind of overreact and you're like, we gotta do something, we gotta do something, we gotta do something, without really thinking all the way through what that something is and making sure it accomplishes what you want to accomplish and core, and is in line with the vision that you have. So I think, I think I've become a better. I think I see the importance of collaboration, the importance of patience, and look, as a leader, I always have just, we win as a team, and I lose, and so if something doesn't happen, it's on me. But we win as a team, and I think, I'm a huge team guy. I love being part of teams. And so for me, it's like building that, collaborative space where people share the same vision. Like, we're a family, we're going to have disagreements. Let's do it respectfully, and but let's figure out how we can all get to the same spot with them. Again, not everybody's going to get 100% what they want, but people are going to get what they need.
Hmm. My final question for you is, what advice would you have for young people who, want to be great leaders in everything they do, but specifically young people that are interested in the public life, being a public official?
I think you just kind of make it about others. Like, you have to remind yourself that, like, when you're in public service, you're elected to serve others. You're not elected to serve you. And and I think, if I were, as I talk to kids all the time, there's some basics, right? You got to work hard. Like, people aren't going to follow somebody that doesn't work. People aren't going to follow somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about, right? I mean, you got to do the work to make sure that you know what you're talking about, that you're well versed on the issues. You're not going to be a subject matter expert on everything, but know what the heck matters, and know it well. Um, and then be somebody that people believe cares about them. Like, I mean, I'm not compelled to want to follow or be on in a group with somebody who I think is all about themselves. And and then you need to find the rewards, like whether it's in your job or in public service or other things that are tangible far beyond what you might have from a like, I always look at it and I go, like, this sound morbid for a second. Cemeteries are full. There's a great quote I use all the time, but cemeteries are full of irreplaceable people, right? I mean, I'm gonna move on. There'll be a day I move on, and there'll be a day, where I'm long since forgotten. What I hope, right? What I hope is that there are things that we've accomplished and left behind that improve Indiana for years and years and decades, and
Right.
Lord willing, centuries to come. And you have to have that. I mean, you have to have that type of uh, commitment, because I think if you don't have that type of commitment, you start making it about yourself. You want to see short-term outcomes that aren't about others, but they're about you. And I mean, I've ran into this trap 100 times myself, so I'm speaking from experience, and I'll make the same mistakes, or I try not to make the same mistakes. I'll make mistakes, later today and throughout the rest of my life. But I think I've just been blessed to be around a group of people in my life that poured into me, family and friends and mentors who poured into me. And what they poured into me more than anything else is that don't make it about you, because you'll have your own individual success and the things that you'll feel really good about if you're helping others, and you'll enjoy those a lot more than those things that are tangible just to you.
Hmm. Well, thank you so much, Indiana Speaker of the House, Todd Huston, excuse me. Thank you for being on the show. All right, that is a wrap on today's interview on Gen Z on leadership with Indiana Speaker of the House, Todd Huston. Very interesting conversation, a lot of great advice. I don't want you to leave yet. I want you to check out my social medias and all social media at Gabriel F. Gary. Follow me, subscribe. Also, if you get the chance, check out my website, genzonleadership.com. Again, this will be linked in this episode's description. And then also, if you can, subscribe to me on my YouTube, Gabriel Gary. Please consider subscribing also to my podcast, Gen Z on Leadership, on whatever podcast streaming platform you're using, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anything else. And consider leaving a rating, as it helps get the podcast to grow in listenership, grow in reach, and really get the message of great leadership out to everyone. Again, stay tuned for all new episodes as I try to post at least one a month.